guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to be doing part 2 to the story I did yesterday about the guy who's 55 years old and found out that a couple years earlier his wife, early 50s, was having an affair with a 21-year-old guy who she worked with. And to make matters worse, he found out that one of his daughters knew about it, which then led him to believe that all 3 of his daughters obviously knew about it because, women can't keep secrets. And the whole video was about his pretty much coming to terms with all this, the emotional turmoil, not only his wife, but also the betrayal he felt with his daughters. They were all, one was a teenager, one was like 14 or 15 when she walked in on the mom, apparently when this happened, and the other 2 were older, but now they're all legal adults, and now he wants to know why didn't they tell me, because he suspects they all knew about it. And so this video is wrapping up the story where he's going to talk to these girls to find out exactly what was going on, why they didn't tell him, all that, and of course him having all the pieces on the chessboard ready for him to strike and end it with his wife, and wait till you see her reaction once he brings this to her attention and so forth. It's going to be a good one. So it starts off, he says, "Hi. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for your messages and support that you sent me. This is going to be a long one, as it will probably be the first and last update. I said I would write an update a week ago after my post, but things were not as fast as I thought, and also, I had to take some time to digest everything. So now I feel comfortable writing and giving you an update." This guy's been through hell, so this guy's allowed to take some time, so no need to apologize there. He says, "As many of you suggested, I took my youngest daughter for lunch last week. During that lunch, I asked her if there's something she would like to share with me." That is like the typical parent thing. Is there something you want to tell me? How many times when you guys were younger, you did something wrong, bet you're doing bad in school or you got in trouble or something, and your parents are like, "Is there something you want to tell me?" Works every time. He says, I don't know if it was my face or tone, but she immediately understood what I was referring to. She broke down and told me the whole story. She did see her mother kissing another man a few years ago in our home. Apparently my ex-wife told the man, he says my ex, she's not his ex-wife yet, but soon. Apparently the ex told the man to leave and sat down with our daughter. She explained that was a brief lapse in judgment, but she was glad that our daughter stopped it. Oh, for God's sakes. This girl at the time, because this is 3 years ago, was like probably 14 or 15 years old. Okay, so imagine that. Now, this girl obviously didn't tell him, so in the last video I said, you can kind of give her a pass because she was so young. But obviously, she's going to tell her older sisters, and they were legal adults at that point, and they should have said something. He says, she swore it was a one-time mistake and begged her not to say anything, as knowing me, I would just walk away from her and our family. So the wife obviously manipulated her, saying, if you tell Dad, then it's going to destroy our family, and the girl's going to will be made to feel like the girl was the one destroying the family. See? Unbelievable. My daughter told me that she agreed to keep it a secret as she believed her mother. Later on, she shared it with my 2 other daughters. Of course she told her the other sisters. Of course she did. Girls can't keep secrets. And to be honest, that kind of pressure on the shoulders of an emotional, very hormonal teenage girl at 14, 15 years old, that's a lot to bear. I'm human, guys. I will look at things from all sides, even though this is a men's channel. As you can imagine, they were both shocked. Apparently, my eldest didn't believe the story of the one-time kiss. It was too convenient that my youngest happened to walk in the living room and find them kissing for their first time. Yeah, that was a bunch of BS. One-time police. Because there were, in the other video, there were documentation and info about hotel meetups and things like that. So the oldest daughter, who's obviously a legal adult and a woman herself, I might add, it's like, this is bullshit. She told them not to worry and that she will handle it with their mother. I can't be more proud of her for taking this burden on her shoulders. From what my youngest knows, it seems that my eldest talked to their mother about her cheating on me, and that if she doesn't come clean to me, they would inform me. However, the mother always had a good excuse over the past few years to delay it. Either it was our job situation, a sick relative, etc. There was always a good excuse to explain that it would be devastating to add this on top of what was going on with me. So the youngest told the older sisters. The older sister confronted the mom, so that's good, and said basically, you better tell him or I'm going to do it. And the mother manipulated her and bullshitted her, and then Every time that she was going to tell, there was some emergency, something that just couldn't be done. Now, again, you could look at it from different sides, saying she should have told the dad anyway, but you could see the pressure of the mother, because the way mothers can have an impact on their daughters, it's a whole thing that a lot of guys may not understand. I mean, guys can have issues with their dad applying pressure to them, but it's a whole different ball game, different dynamic with mothers and daughters, okay? Trust me. But regardless, I mean, we can go back and forth here, but it just sucks this guy didn't know. But the real villain is the mother. At the end of the lunch, I told her I will call her two sisters to discuss. She insisted on being part of the conversation. Fair enough. I messaged my two daughters telling them that I need to talk to them right now. So we quickly set up a call. Part of me thinks they knew what I wanted to talk about. And I told them that they and their sister, what they told me and what happened with their mother. They both started crying, saying they're sorry, that they wanted to tell me, etc., etc. Long story short, I told them I was not mad at them. I said I was sorry that they had to carry this burden for so long and that I will always love them. When it comes to their mother, I told them I will leave because I don't see myself staying with someone who betrayed me. But I said I will talk with her first before making any decision, as it is the least I can do. I asked them not to mention anything to their mother, as I'm planning to have a discussion that same evening. Well, this guy's having a big day. Well, I'm hoping that everything's ready and set on the chessboard. Again, we go back and forth. The daughters put on the waterworks during the Skype session or Zoom session, whatever the hell it was. But at the end of the day, it sounds like a situation where, you know, the mother is manipulating him, bullshitting him. Oh, I can't tell dad just yet. But 3 years, she dragged it out. But still, it is what it is. This guy's kicking his wife's ass to the curb. At the end of the day, I go back home. The wife is already here talking about her day as usual, etc. I told her I had an interesting discussion with her daughters. She immediately knew what I was talking about. They all know. Boom. They can tell what he's talking about. Now listen to this. Here we go. She started sobbing, saying it was just a kiss, and because she knows how much I value trust and so on, especially with my business, she was afraid of losing me for such a small thing. Just a kiss. So already the waterworks are going on. Already she's lying to him, saying it was just a kiss, even though obviously way more things were going on back at the house, the hotel, and all that. But this guy knows this. To be honest, I thought seeing her cry would make me cry, but nothing. I told her she will receive the papers tomorrow by courier and we will move on. After that, I went to our bedroom, packed some clothes, and left. I didn't know where I was going, but I just couldn't stay in our home anymore. I booked a hotel downtown and called my youngest to tell her I would not stay at home that night. Good this guy got out of there. Staying there with her would have made things worse. She told me she was planning to stay with a friend tonight to avoid going back home and face her mother. But since I was out, she asked if she could stay with me, of course. You do not want to have your youngest daughter go back home with the same woman that started this whole mess. It would be an absolute disaster. I informed my two other daughters that their sister and I will be staying in a hotel for the night. They asked if we could discuss all together, so I said yes. During that discussion, I told them what would be the next steps according to my lawyer. I also made sure that they know that they are my daughters and that I love them. Again, against probably everyone's advice, I couldn't stop myself from telling them that part of me was hurt that they didn't tell me anything. I told them I thought we had a strong bond and that we could discuss about anything. I don't care what anybody else said. He has every right to say this, in the very least, to say that he was hurt and all that because, you know, they didn't tell him. Now, he obviously, the logical part of him could see why they didn't say anything because, like, the bullshit the mom was feeding him and all that, and the manipulation. But still, the emotional side, he was hurt. And he has a right to say it. Fuck anybody else saying he shouldn't do that. If he knows in his gut that's the best thing for him, he should do it. They started crying and apologizing, so I reminded them that no matter what happened, they are my daughters and I love them. However, I told them it will take some time for me to behave as we used to. That is quite reasonable. I told them I was thinking of going for a long trip to clear my mind, and my eldest said that if I need it, then I should do it. After that, we just went to bed. This guy is definitely deserves a very, very long vacation. And in the last video, he was talking about going a month to Thailand or a month to Hawaii. Hop on a plane, go somewhere warm, and you can be on the beach and look at hot young women. That's what I say. Go to Thailand, you'll have a lot of fun. A lot of beautiful 20-something girls that love wealthy, older American men. The next morning, My daughter and I were having breakfast, and the mother called me. I didn't really want to pick up the phone, but my daughter insisted I talk to her. Yeah, he should have avoided this. Actually, no, you're going to see that actually what he did was a good thing. You're going to see why. I agree, but I put the speaker on. Very smart. As soon as I picked up the phone, I could hear she's been probably drinking all night. She started crying, telling me she loves me, we are meant to be together, that this will be devastating for the kids, etc. Isn't that always the same story? When the guy finds out what's been going on, the waterworks begin, the crocodile tears, I'm so sorry, and oftentimes tries to say, if you leave, it will ruin the family, and tries to use the kids, the children, as guilt to get the guy to stick around. More manipulation, more bullshit. I told her the kids are adults now, they don't need us. We gave them the best we could, and now they have to build the life they own. Suddenly, she turned very nasty. Imagine that. One moment, I love you, and I'm sorry, and the waterworks, and now, just like that, when she can't get her way, complete 180, and listen to this. Suddenly, she turned very nasty, saying she will take everything I have, that she will make sure my company goes bankrupt, and she will tell our daughters that I physically did things to her, etc. I was shocked. I just stared at my daughter, who also couldn't believe what she was hearing. I decided to cut the discussion short and said my lawyer will get in touch with her. Damn. But is anybody surprised about that? Is anybody surprised the complete 180? She doesn't get what she wants with one tactic, 180 in the other. I'm going to take everything you have. I'm going to tell our daughters that you did this, this, and this. And fortunately, the guy had the phone on speaker and his daughter got to hear everything. Golden. The daughter and I didn't even know what to say to each other. It is like this person who was with us for 2 decades suddenly became another person. No, you're seeing a side of her that is really her. 5 minutes later, she received a message from the mother telling that they need to talk. The daughter was scared, so I told her not to reply. Anyway, the mother was clearly drunk, so nothing good would come from that discussion. I told her I'll be staying at this hotel until things are settled, and she's free to stay with me as long as she wants. We had another group call with my 2 daughters to tell them what happened. As you can imagine, they were astonished. Well, this is awesome because now all the daughters know exactly what the mother was saying to this guy. I mean, this is great. This guy is really getting the upper hand here. And again, because his daughters are now out of the house, and as his lawyer said, you're not going to have to pay alimony because they're now adults. Awesome. And because his wife works and does well, as you're going to see, that can minimize the chances of him losing too much, aside from the splitting up of assets, which is typical. I met my lawyer and told him what happened. He said, I don't have to worry about anything. The mother had a good position professionally and is financially all right. I run a business that employs 50 to 100 people, so a judge will never jeopardize that knowing her comfortable situation. She will get half of our assets, houses, cars, etc., but money-wise, she shouldn't have a penny from my savings, and she shouldn't be able to claim anything from my company. That's awesome. That is great. I hope this happens for this guy. And by the way, he owns a company that has 50 to 100 people. That's awesome. I mean, good for this guy. Hell of an entrepreneur. My daughter told me she's worried about going back to her house with her mom, and she's afraid she'll be blamed for it. I told her I'll get a place downtown and she can stay with me there, either temporarily until she feels she can get back, or until she goes to college. I felt like the way her mother went crazy on the phone deeply troubled her. I will tell her I can find someone she can speak to if she feels the need, like a counselor. Let's see how she feels like. This guy's a good guy. You can absolutely see this on so many levels here. And he's a good father, okay? And, we saw what happened with the daughters, and it is what it is. But obviously, they were manipulated and lied to by their crazy mother. You can see right here in this story, she's crazy. The youngest definitely gets a pass. The older ones, they still should have said something, but they're obviously sorry. It is what it is. But this witch of a wife of his, she's getting hers. Especially now that her daughter saw what she did a few years ago and lied, manipulated, and all that. And now they see... The one got to hear how she threatened the dad with that awful stuff. Golden. The mother received the papers and apparently went ballistic with our families, hers and mine. Her family tried to call us, but my eldest just shut them down. On my side, my brother knows me and just offered support. He knows I wouldn't do something like this for no reason. That's great. So here we are now. Divorce is on the way. Daughter is staying with me until she feels like going back home, maybe. The mother sent me messages. I might meet her, but my lawyer strongly advises me not to. Listen to your lawyer. Your lawyer is a pro. okay? Do not meet her. Any communication with your ex or the wife needs to be done when you have actual proof. Email, text, but even then I wouldn't do it. Don't make matters worse. Don't do it unless you absolutely have to. Make sure that there's a trail, proof, text, email, whatever. But otherwise, all communication at this point, given the threat she was giving you and all that, make sure your lawyer's there. Guys, you're in a legal situation, listen to your lawyers. They are pros, okay? I have lots of friends that are lawyers. Trust me on this. Little tip there. He said there's nothing to gain and everything to lose. I probably will trust him on that. Good. About me, I will not go to Thailand until I'm sure my youngest is in a good place. This guy's a great guy. Good dad. So if I go, it'll probably be next year when high school is done. I don't know how our day-to-day life is going to be. Let's see. You take it one day at a time, dude. End of story. That's all you can do. I don't think I will send another update unless something major happens. So again, I would like to thank you all for your support that you sent me. I never thought I'd be in this situation, and I hope nobody will be in the same. Thank you all. I'm sure he never thought he'd be in this situation. But you know what? Unfortunately, there'll be plenty of guys that will be in a situation like this. Mark my words. So if any guys stumble upon his story or read this video, this might help them out. It might help them out to get through a tough situation, to know that others have been through it, to hear good tips and suggestions either on my part or on his story to help him through it, or to help him see the red flags that this doesn't happen at all. Who knows? But there's good that can come from all this. But this sucks for this guy, but you know what? At least now he's ending up on top. He's not going to have to pay this alimony and child support for the kids because they're now adults. His wife obviously does well financially, so he's not going to have to pay her too much aside from like splitting up the assets like the houses and stuff like that. Okay, fine. His company shouldn't be disrupted, so that's great. And his daughters now have 2 examples of how his wife is really like. So that's really good. So I'm hoping this guy really deserves to have a good ending here and a good second chance, clean slate in life after this 25-year-old marriage. Good for him. So, but anyhow, guys, perfect example, guys, to show you just, you know, one, girls can't keep secrets. Understand that. 2, a lot of times women will side with the moms, or women stick together, but then there's always more than meets the eye. That sounds like Transformers. And just, guys, you got to pay attention to the red flags. Just things happen. So anyhow, good story there. I'm glad it's going to end well for the guy. So, all right, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.